Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight on this lovely Friday evening? Welcome to the lounge. Tonight, I figured I would bring on a topic that we all kind of struggle with. And I think you guys think that because I'm a medium, that I'm like sitting on top of a mountain, and I do live on top of a mountain, but that I'm sitting on top of a mountain, cross legged, meditating all the time before all my sessions. And I'm so relaxed and so calm. And that can't be further from the truth. I mean, there's a lot of mediums that are like, oh my God, you don't sit and meditate all day long. I'm like, no, I don't. When I'm in my sessions, to me, raising that vibration and keeping that focused awareness is kind of a source of meditation for me. But no, I'm one of those people that's very active. My mind's always going, and I struggle with sitting still. And I'm an informational channel, so I'm always having all sorts of things swirling around. And for me, moving meditation kind of works for me. Like if I work out, I feel more centered, I feel more calm, or if I take a nice walk in nature, that helps to calm my nervous system a little bit. But I always felt like there was something like wrong because I wasn't sitting cross-legged for hours on a meditation pillow. And I remember going to meditation classes and being like so annoyed that I had to like sit through it. And I was so bored. And I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody about that because they're like, oh, you have a spiritual job. And how do you not do this stuff? Well, I actually talk to a lot of people that consider meditation for busy people and for people in the modern world that have families or they have a career and they can't just sit all the time and meditate. There are alternatives. I want you guys to know that just from my energy forecasts, from the weekly energy forecast, from the monthly energy forecasts that I bring to you guys every week and every month. They're on the 15th of each month, so I just want to put a link to that. If you don't currently subscribe to that, here's my link folio, so you guys can definitely click on that. And if you're not seeing the monthly forecast, you definitely should subscribe because that's where you're going to hear about what's going on. So for your holiday, I really would like you guys to be present, to be in the moment at the time. If you are celebrating any holidays in the next month or two, I want you guys to be in the present moment and not after the fact say, oh, I just did everything for everybody else. I stressed myself out and now I need 3 days to rest so I can recover from the holiday season. Why not realize too that it is your holiday as well as everyone else's? That was very hard for me to kind of comprehend for a really long time because us as a lot of women or even men, we want to make the holidays good for our loved ones, and we kind of run ourselves to the ground, burn our candle at both ends, and don't realize like it's your holiday too. So how are we going to get you in a place where you can banish that overwhelm, banish that anxiety, and kind of take the holidays in stride, like on the lazy river ride? You guys are probably laughing at me thinking, yeah, that's not really possible, right? That can't happen. But I have an expert coming on today. His name is Dr. Krishna Bhatta, and he is telling us he has developed an app called the Relaxx app, which allows us in our busy lives to take a step back, and he keeps it simple. He makes it easy for us to get into that space of calm and balance. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about Krishna. I'm very excited about his journey. I want to ask him questions about his life. We've had a lot of guests in the last couple of weeks that were in the medical field and they're also in the spiritual field. And usually we don't see those two things intertwined very much. Either there's people in the medical field or there's people like us in the spiritual field. And for me, I'm a medical intuitive, so I kind of like, it kind of encompass both, but I'm not a medical doctor. Although I do come from a family of medical doctors, which some of you did not know that. But we have a doctor on tonight, and he is a physician as well as an author and the creator of this app. So I can't wait for you guys to hear about Krishna. So let me tell you guys a little bit about our guest tonight. So Krishna Bhatta, Dr. Bhatta, MD, FRCS, is an author, surgeon, and inventor currently practicing as Chief of Urology at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center in Bangor, Maine. Dr. Bhatta began his life in a small Indian village, attended Patna Medical College in India, and continued his education in the UK. He completed his research and medical training at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, and I went to graduate school in Boston. So hi, Dr. Krishna. Um, Dr. Bhatta is equal parts practical and spiritual, and we love that. We love people who are down to earth, and they also have a sense of spirit. And he speaks and writes on meditation and spiritual topics. During his whole career, Dr. Bhatta developed a fascination with spiritual studies. He worked hard to study the high rate of burnout in the physician community. Now, that's great because a lot of us are not physicians, but I'm sure we can all relate to the high pace of life in the United States, especially on the East Coast, which a lot of you are kind of coming from, where we kind of go fast paced. And so a lot of us do struggle with burnout, especially those whose careers are at a high pace as well. And to address this issue, Dr. Bhatta leveraged spiritual studies to understand human consciousness and find a solution to prevent burnout and accelerate the human mind and body function. Dr. Bhatta currently serves, and we talked about this, as the chief of urology, and he learned to manage energy with the Relaxx app. He developed this, he created this, and start high energy living. Some people are always happy and peaceful. They don't get stressed. They don't burn out. What is the secret? He's going to come on and tell us that secret today. Very excited about it. He says that while we try to reduce the stress, prevent burnout, and manage peace and happiness, they instead manage the energy body. And there's so much I need to learn from this. Higher the energy, the more higher your energy, the more peaceful you are, and lower the energy, the more irritable you are. So if we stay in higher energy, we're more peaceful. We stay in lower energy, we're not. Start your high energy living with the Relaxx app. Peace, happiness, and success will follow. Well, I can't wait to bring him on. Let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Krishna Bhatta. Hi, Dr. Krishna.
Hi, Marisa. Oh, goodness, that was a very detailed, expression of myself. I thought really it's all true, but I love the high energy kind of concept. I mean, many people will talk to you, say that you have to work on your mind to cool it down. Instead, if you work on energy, if your energy goes up, it always helps the mind and the body and the whole thing. So that's the whole simple concept, and we'll talk more about it. But I loved the way you put it, spend some time with yourself, do something for yourself. There's nothing wrong. I mean, some people think it's being selfish, but it's not really. And in that sense, Buddha was selfish, right? He left his family, left everybody to pursue something that he didn't know what he was pursuing to start with. So in a way, it's okay to be selfish, for ourselves. If you are cooking for everybody else, think of yourself as well, as you said, and spend some time with yourself every day. So in the go-go culture, at least at Relaxx and through me, what I talk, keep your go-go culture, but to spend 10 minutes a day with yourself. And that
Yeah.
10 minutes of what I call intermittent silence, it's like giving time to yourself, basically gives your brain some rest, re-energizes you, refreshes you, and then you go and do the go-go culture. You don't have to leave the go-go culture completely to be spiritual, as you mentioned in your beginning.
Yeah, I think what I find most fascinating about you is, you have such, I mean, as a chief of urology at a major medical center, your life is probably so busy. Like, how did you figure out that there's people that need this? How did you develop it? And did you have your own spiritual experience which led you to create this app?
Yeah, Marisa, I think that's you hit it on the nail on the head, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, yes, it was helping me. It has been helping me. I didn't realize myself that it was something helping me stay cool and, in very difficult situations, either as in management or in, say, surgery, there comes difficult situation. And when the situation became more difficult, I became more kind of focused and centered rather than getting agitated as some people do. So that help, it came obvious to me when I was doing book talk. I have that book Journey from Life to Life, and I was going to libraries and giving talks, and topics came, and then people said, "Oh, can you do a workshop?" And I did some workshop, but it was virtual at that time because of COVID. And then the app was a kind of offshoot from that, that yes, we can put this in a format where at the moment, if you want some deeper experience, you have to go to a guru or ashram,
Yeah.
you know which is okay. I mean, they are great places for, great energy places. But we created this app which becomes a portable companion, portable guru. And I think it will work very well because it does have the contents are really, um, you know s- for lack of any other expression, you go to the beach, you can go knee deep and enjoy the water. And you can then want to explore further, you can do, it's like a snorkel. If you want to go deep dive, you can do scuba dive. So we cover from going knee deep to scuba dive and deeper, um, in this app. um, and it's fun. It has been a fun journey.
Yeah. So, what, as far as taking the app and putting it into that bubble of the holidays season where people are rushing around, and now that Thanksgiving's over, it's like it's not even like people aren't done even putting their plates away, and they're rushing out to start buying, Black Friday, buying Christmas presents, and people celebrating Hanukkah and all that stuff. It's like by the time a month comes around, people are kind of already at burnout, in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, what can people do from now until then, knowing that they have to go and run and go and do and buy food and buy gifts and, try to make everybody else happy? Um, what, especially people with families and young children, where they just don't have the time to sit and, try to relax themselves. What could they do? Use this? How will this benefit them throughout the
Yeah.
holiday
No,
season?
I can give two or three tips, of what they can do, because everybody says I don't have time for it, right?
Right.
So how do we find time, in our busy schedule? That part. But before that, I'll just try to explain a couple of concepts, and then we can come to that. So when we talk about energy, we talk about three C's: conserve energy, create energy, and channel energy.
Mhm.
Channel is like, how do you manifest? You have energy. Do you go and punch somebody, or do you go and it's
Yeah,
like, and talk nicely and smoothly, and give them, inspire them, like
right.
you inspire people through your show.
Oh, well, thank you.
You are channeling your energy. I mean, it takes effort for you to do this every week, or
Yeah,
so, right? So you are doing it. Not only it inspires you, I mean, talking to you, it's like mutually inspiring, right? So our energy is being shared. So the same way, conserve energy is like, in real life as well, and in meditation as well. In meditation, you close your eyes because most of the energy goes out of our eyes. So you close your eyes, that's conserving energy as well. Close your mouth, you're not talking, you're not expressing, it's you are internalizing, that's conserving energy. But in the
that's so
regular life,
interesting. That's so
yeah,
interesting because you had mentioned that to me, when we did our pre-call for this interview, and I'm thinking, well, can't you just do the same thing while your eyes are open? And I think it's so interesting that you talk about that intermittent silence and that closing your mouth when you're doing this and closing your eyes conserves energy. And I haven't ever heard of that before, and that's so interesting to me.
and it rests your brain cells as well.
So
you know
this is like
those,
a neurobiological
right.
response? Okay.
Completely, because your brain is always, working, go.
Yeah.
You give 5 minutes of rest, the brain cells, neurons will thank you, that come on, give me, you get, it's like you're no more looking at your iPhone or something else. So that conserving energy, but also in general discussions and talks, sometimes we get into unnecessary arguments or discussions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yes, gossip may have a place, but too much gossip is kind of, wasting your energy. So in general, conserving energy is a good thing. And then
Right.
creating energy. So you can create energy. Inspiration is one thing. All the meditation is creating energy. If you think like that, it meditation becomes totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think of meditation as working on the mind, that's one way to do pacify your mind. If you think of meditation as increasing your energy level, it's like if you want to purchase something that costs $5,000, you can go and borrow that money from somebody, or steal some money and buy that. you know
Right.
but
Okay.
if you create wealth and then buy it, it's a different thing. So it's like when you create energy, somehow the energy level is such that other things don't bother you that much. And some people are born with a higher energy level, so they don't burn out. They are always happy. So it's not like everybody has to do it, but some people definitely need that more than others.
So when you see, because I think of, I guess, in my career, being in higher frequency most of the time sometimes doesn't always equate to higher energy for me, because most of the time I was disconnected from the earth and was not grounded at the same time. So when you talk about higher frequency or higher energy, do you also mean, grounding and balancing as well? Uh, as or do you are those kind of interchangeable for you, frequency and energy, or are they different?
So, Marisa, we like to complicate things, right?
Right.
So, you can use the word vibrations. Like I met an artist, and he is created amazing work, of bronze and
Mm.
things. But what happened to him is that he used to get these vibrations. His body started vibrating, and this vibrational energy then translated into his work of art.
Wow.
And he's in Maine. I mean, he used to be in New York, famous
Yeah.
artist. And the same way, there is a um, author who we interviewed. His name is Tom Morris. He's a public philosopher, very famous man. And he was telling me how he could, he used the word eye of the mind, that he could visualize and hear voices of a father talking to the son. And he's created 8 volumes of book, The Oasis Within, which is an amazing books. I mean, series of books. So these things happen, and you get this energy. Where is this coming from? So when I say intermittent silence, close your eyes and look inside you. That's just the beginning. The doors start to open. The flow that you get from inside. Some people will say that it's coming from the brain. I totally don't believe that, because there is the body, the mind, and I call flame of consciousness, the flame. These are the three entities we have. The nucleus is the soul or the spirit, but just outside that is our consciousness within, the inner strength. And there is this source or the force, which is the stem cell of all the creativity that can happen. It comes to you in a medium form. It comes to Einstein in a formula form. It comes to Tom Morris in a book form. It comes to this artist as an artist. A
Mm.
musician gets the music.
Mm-hmm.
An inventor, talk to most inventors. They will say that, it came to me.
Right. Right.
So, and it came to me from where? I
Right.
mean, there is an engineer who owns a construction firm in Maine, and he says he gets his answers in sleep.
Yeah. Kind of
And then
like
he gets up and notes it down.
yeah.
So we all have, that's why I'm saying meditation man that you described, who sits down with a crossed leg and chanting Om,
Yeah.
is we have to change that conversation, that the image that comes from, closing your eyes, thinking about a meditation man, is because that's how it has been kind of conceived so far. But a friend of mine, he goes to the boonies in a cave cabin on a lake, stays there 3 days or maybe more, all alone. Maybe he has a gun that he just walks around with. That is what is he doing? To me, he's meditating of some sort. I mean, he's not necessarily um,
Hmm.
doing what the classic meditation is, but when he comes back to work, he looks refreshed, he looks energized, he looks happy. So so this is the concept that I was saying. And the other concept is, we separate material and spiritual. We talk as if it is two different worlds. And just like time and space continuum, it's like physicist Einstein, they created this thing that the space and time are not separate. The same way material and spiritual is a continuum, like same way as time and space continuum. And you can be 100% spiritual, you can be 100% material, and still you are 100% you. This mathematics is not the 100 plus 100 is 200, it's 100 plus 100 is 100 equals. And this has to be understood before you can say that yes, you can be both, and you can be good in both.
Right. Right. So I guess my question is for people that are looking to access that channel, right? For people that are looking, like I loved how you put it together. Like the artist is doing the same thing when they channel the painting that I'm doing when I channel information for a person that's sitting in front of me, or intuitively, or even in a mediumship way, or connecting to spirit. That's an open channel. It's an art. Or the musician is channeling the music, right? So a lot of people don't think those three things are the same, and they come from the same source and the same channel and the same type of technique and mechanism, but they are. They are
Yeah,
opening the channel. So a lot of
exactly. I mean, the stem cells, the stem cells can become liver, the stem cell can become kidney, stem cell can become brain,
mm, okay,
right?
yeah.
So the same source from inside, why can't it have different channels? See?
And I think some people think the only way to, I think this is excellent to bring up, because just like the medium is channeling somebody from the other side, the artist is channeling the painting from the other side. Like it's still what we want to say the other side, but it's all together. It's all
Yeah,
just
inner
different
outer
dimension. Yeah,
continuum, right? I
right,
mean,
right, right. So, but I know there's people in the audience today that are thinking, wow, I thought that open channel was just for intuition, not for all these other things, but just as a doctor, as somebody, as a surgeon, when you're, somebody's laying on the table, and it's not always an exact science, you run into situations when you have somebody open for surgery and you have to channel what to do. It's not in a book. You can't Google it. You're in a situation where you have to make a decision, and you just know. It's claircognizance, right? Claircognizance. You just know. So that's the same mechanism. And so people here in this audience are thinking, oh, well, I only have one of those mechanisms for intuition, but they're not realizing that it's all expansive. Like they could open up that channel and use it for any creative endeavor that they so choose. And I'm assuming that your app is kind of that conduit to be able
the
to
app
open that
has a
channel.
lot of routines that are conduit. So here comes the, what can they do on a daily routine? So let's think about, a couple of things that, people can take away and do it. So talk about
Yeah.
mindfulness. So mindfulness, many people have different meanings, and there is a lot of routines out there about mindfulness. But I simply say that think of mindfulness. Well, first think of mind. Be friends with your mind. because mind is your mind. It's going to be with you. Stop calling names. Stop calling monkey mind or saying, I can't stop my mind. My mind is, against me.
Yes.
It's not. It's your friend. Just have a friendly relation with your mind. And mind has two components, at least the way I describe it. And there are many psychiatrists now starting to think that this may be a good way to express. So one is mindfulness, the other is minding, which is like the
Okay.
thoughts keep going on. And that will continue. The mind's job is minding, and it will continue doing that. And we have done excellent because of that property of mind.
So wait, let me ask you a question because
Yeah.
I'll forget if I don't interrupt you. So I'm sorry. But why shouldn't people say my mind is racing or it's all over the place or I just can't, focus? Why should people stop saying that?
Because mind is going to be with you forever, as long as you live and maybe beyond that. So why not have a friendly relationship?
Right.
I'm just changing the relationship. I'm not saying it's not racing. I'm not saying it's not doing its job. That is the job of mind, minding. And can condition it? Can you channel it? Yes, whole of psychology, psychiatry tries to work on how to condition your mind, how to sharpen your mind. And we should continue doing that to give it direction. Mindfulness, on the other hand, is like a camcorder. You turn it on, it will be on. You switch it off, it will be off.
Mhm.
Mindfulness is very useful. So, what I would suggest that people can do this way, thinking about mindfulness in this way, not like a guided meditation or being in the present, is just in the morning when you get up and just decide for 10 minutes, you will be mindful for every movement that you do, every action that you will do. Just for,
Like as you're moving
yeah, as
around.
you are brushing your teeth, as the
Okay.
water is coming on, shower is coming on your body, feel every
Is that
feeling.
meditation?
Hmm?
Is that meditation actually?
That's mindfulness.
Okay, so that's different than what the Relaxx app tells. Like that's not
No,
something
Relax app
the
has
Relaxx.
mindfulness as a topic as well. So
Okay.
Relax app is a wellness and meditation and
Mhm.
intermittent silence, and it has a lot of routines from positive psychology, and it has also content for small kids like 4-year-old kid.
Oh, wow, for kids too?
Yeah, we have
Wow,
four
that's
year
great.
old kids blowing candle and practicing that, because they're
Wow.
not going to sit down and meditate.
Right, right, right.
So
Yeah,
they are just practicing breathing and practicing being cool and practicing something that is, they're growing up with it.
right.
So that's how the new meditation man, I mean, I want to see meditation man in a school, in a college, in a laboratory, in a you know hospital. I mean, why can't we have this thing, as I said, material spiritual going parallel? Because it happened to me. I didn't make any special effort, but both of the path worked, and it complemented each other.
Right. Now, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. What about your patients before they're wheeled in for surgery doing the Relaxx app? Would that make a difference in how they go through surgery and how they recover from surgery?
So one of the patients was in the hospital, somebody who practiced intermittent silence, simple intermittent silence. And you don't really, to practice some of these meditation techniques, you don't always need an app, as long as you get the hang of the concept.
Yeah.
So her surgery was delayed. So instead of getting frustrated and, why am I waiting this pre-op area for,
Yeah.
it's like 2 hours rather than 1 hour, she closed her eyes and went into intermittent silence. And about 10, 15 minutes later, the nurse comes and kind of, touches her, and, she wakes up, and she says, time to go. And she was taking her blood pressure or something. And everything, the heart rate, the blood pressure is so, normal. And she was astonished that she says, "You're not nervous?" And she said, "Well, I am nervous, but I just practiced my 10 minutes of intermittent silence." So, does it help? It helped her. We need, of course, we we will need more validation data, because I'm a scientist. I can tell my story. It helped me, after surgery, because as you know, the visiting hours are very little, and there was, not more than one person was allowed more than 2 hours in the hospital. So all the time I had was, with me, and either I, suffer or do that, which, yes, there will be pain, there will be all those things. But could I use that as an opportunity to experience something that I will probably never have again? So use it as an opportunity. And
Right. Right. And so how is this because everybody knows like you could go on YouTube and do a guided meditation or you could get a guided meditation. How is the Relaxx app different from your just normal run of the mill guided meditation app that is like
I
calm or
mean,
like
we
breathe?
have we have some guided, Marisa, but
Mhm.
guided meditation can only work on your mind,
I see.
because it's working on your mind. It's taking you to a trip, and imagine this, imagine that. That's all the faculty of mind. It doesn't really help you create energy.
Hmm.
It
I did not
doesn't
know that.
really it doesn't really help you go into your deep consciousness,
Okay. Why?
because it doesn't. It's suggesting you to take a trip. So it's talking to your mind. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so what is the benefit of guided meditation for people like that just go on and do a guided meditation? What kind of benefit do they get from that?
So it conditions your mind in a way.
Okay. What do you mean by I'm
Conditioning.
just like I guess I'm looking for the practical reasons why somebody would want to do a guided meditation if it doesn't really help on the subconscious level.
So all the effort that has been done, apart from very few that is not become popular, is work on body and mind.
Right, right.
Very few people even talk about flame of consciousness, or you have individual consciousness. You have your inner universe where the strength building happens.
Mhm.
And that one you can do only by yourself. So a lot of deeper meditations that we have works in that field. So your connection to your energy body, like you were talking about energy body, happens through a couple of uh, connections. One is the breathing, and that's why vipassana is one of the meditations that's very popular, and that's not that much of a guided meditation. It's more like watching your breathing. And so when you breathe in and breathe out, so after you breathe in, there is a small gap that you may become aware as you start looking for it. And then when you breathe out, there is a gap that you can be aware of. So when you start watching this thing, suddenly you find that you slip in that gap into a different world. And that is when you slip into your inner body, inner universe through your energy body and all that. The other,
So
the
I
other,
guess
yeah.
could we like simplify that just a little more for people who might not understand kind of the practicalities of what you just said? Like for people that are kind of beginning this journey, if we could look at just the core difference between the guided meditation and the flame of consciousness work. One is, if just let me know, correct me if I'm not understanding this, but one is more of to condition the mind, to kind of train it um, to be more disciplined. And the
Yeah.
other one is to go into the more of the depths of consciousness to create energy to manifest and to create energy to live at a higher level of consciousness and to uh, tap into that channel of creation. Am I getting this right?
You are coming very close to it. So
Okay.
I always love this quote from Einstein, and he expresses it so well that I can just put the quote and then I will analyze what he says. And that takes the whole journey that we talked about. So he says, I think 99 times and nothing happens. I stop thinking, I swim in silence, and the truth comes to me.
Hmm.
So the first thing he starts with is the mind. He's not saying thinking is not good. He says, I think 99 times. So he exhausts his brain power. He does the brainstorming. So the brainstorming he does, like a musician will do a musician composing, brainstorming. Mathematician will do formulas, and physicist will do a different kind of thinking. Doctor will do different kind of thinking. And then the answer doesn't come, so then he stops thinking. And then he goes in the silence, but he's not, he says, I swim in silence. So he's not, doing nothing in silence. And in that silence, in that inner universe, it's not an empty space. That is where your creativity is there. That's your happiness there. There's your joy there. That's your sorrow, jealousy, depression. All those things are floating around there. Just imagine that, it's all there. You can pick up which one you want to bring with you in your, say, inner backpack. But when he stops thinking and when he swims in silence, that's when the flow starts. That's when the answer comes. That's when the truth comes.
So you shouldn't have any external sound or someone guiding you to access that point.
So, external sound you cannot avoid. So, I
Right.
say silent listening.
Right.
And sometimes you can add music because sound has got a power.
Right. Hmm.
So if you go into, I always say marching band. I mean, soldiers can fight without band, but what does the marching band do? Or you can dance without a music in the disco, or if you go into a pub, but that music is different. The same way you can have a different music to guide you inside. So music is, I mean, many of the apps in our app, Relaxx app, are music based.
Okay. So they're not like somebody saying, okay, go into the forest and look at the trees or look at the beautiful lake. That's not anything like that.
I mean, we have some of that,
Yeah.
but that's separate. But when we talk about the deeper meditation, when we talk about the inner universe, your journey is you, it's your journey. If someone else is there, then mind is there. Someone else's voice is guide. There is some voice, like for breathing, it starts with giving instructions, but then it leaves you to do the thing.
Hmm.
So that's the difference, that you become your guide, you become your guru. But yes, there is some music to keep you in the process of doing it.
And how often and by the way, for the people watching, this is a free app to download. Okay. So it doesn't, there are subscription areas of the app, but if you want to just get the app, it's a free app to download. And I was told by Dr. Krishna that around the holidays, moving into the next holiday season, there might be some sales and promotions that they put out. But for now, you can get the Relaxx app. You can go and download it. I put the link in the chat, and I'm going to put that up here in the up here on the screen. You can go to relaxx.org, relax with two X's, and you could also connect with Dr. Krishna on Facebook and just put in Relaxx app. But you can download that at relaxx.org as well. And I also included the link. You could just click on it in the comments section. And if you want to ask Dr. Krishna a question or you want to ask me a question, that's what we reserve the last couple minutes of the show for. I know you guys have been extra quiet tonight. Usually you guys are commenting all over the place, but I think you guys are really actively listening. So I think Dr. Krishna put us all in kind of a meditative state, just listening to his beautiful, calming voice. I'm definitely interested and I'm going to be downloading the app myself because um, the guided, I just, when I hear I have to sit down for a guided meditation, I am not at all drawn to that whatsoever. So I want to experience something different to add to my busy life so that I can have those intermittent periods of grounding and balancing and being present in the moment, where I don't have to set aside an hour a day to try to sit in silence or meditate because I just don't have that time right now because I'm so busy. So, what are some of the results that people can see just by trying it out for a couple of days? What kind of results will they see?
So one of the things with meditation is that you have to do it for, give yourself at least a week or you know better a month of doing same meditation, same time. You know, the best time we do, I mean, me and my wife, we have been doing it regularly, is when we go to bed, when we go to sleep. There is routines there for half an hour or 20 minutes or 1 hour. So you can start with the shorter routine, and then it, Marisa, it is addictive. Once you get the hang of it,
Yeah.
you really want to do it because it really, your sleep quality is different. I mean, if you can't sleep, it will help you sleep better. If you sleep well, it will help you sleep deeper. And we go to you know, the the final stage of, if you sleep really well, you can sleep, what we call conscious deep sleep, which is yoga nidra, which is you can be
Yes.
awake and is still surrounded by sleep. So, I mean, we have a lot of those things there. And you don't have time in the daytime, sleep, everybody sleeps. So you sleep, take this one of the meditations and go to sleep. Like one of the meditation is humming, just humming for 15 minutes. Background music is really amazing. Um,
And I have to ask you a question about the sleep thing because that brings up another question that I have. I know for people that are overachievers like myself and people that are always doing something, I know when I have something like really stimulating the next day, whether that's I have a show or a presentation or I'm going on a vacation or there's something anxiety producing, sometimes at night the heart starts racing and you can't sleep and you're excited, whether it's something you're nervous about or if it's something you're excited about, sometimes that creates a little bit of that insomnia. So this will this help with that, you know kind of
so
excited
I'm
state?
so glad you brought it up, Marissa, because this is the commonest thing, and it happens to me. I call these things consuming thoughts. That some idea or some project that consumes you, right? So what I do is I'll just go and do the meditation. So how does it work? The idea is, how do you manage thoughts when you meditate? Whether you do guided or whether you do unguided, whether you do this thing. And the classic instruction has been, you become a witness of your thoughts. You just watch it as a third person, like a traffic on the road. And that works, but not always. I have come to a conclusion that coexistence is the best way to deal with it. So those ideas that you have, they're not going to go away. So let's just coexist with it and do the meditation. So the meditation brings your energy to a point where that all those things are still there, but they're not consuming anymore. The bite is gone.
What
But
about the body symptoms that people feel, like the
yeah,
adrenaline or the
it gets,
cortisol?
to me, it gets easier. So it just gets better. But it's not going to go away, because that project, you still have to do that presentation tomorrow, and you still probably, I mean, if you had a bad, experience the day before, that experience is not going to go away immediately. But if you increase the level of your other side, so just basically you coexist, um, because trying to push it away doesn't work. And
what
if
if
it
the
works, then
symptoms, like let's say, I don't know, there's a lot of married people on this thread here. Yeah, but it's just a conflict with your husband or your wife before bedtime, and
yeah,
angry going to bed and you can't sleep, you know what I mean? Or you're really afraid. Some people, are afraid to fly on a plane, and the next day you have to go and get on a plane, or uh you have to do something the next day which is stressful, like
yeah.
for you, like
So it
patients coming in.
consumes you. That's why I said,
Yeah.
consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the way, there are many people, many suggestions, many ways to deal with it. My thing that works for me is if you increase the level of your, handling, or your, energy level, somehow, it still is there, but the bite becomes less. That's the best way I can describe it.
Right. And this app will help with people that are
There
experiencing
are
these types of
routines on the
things.
app. I mean, you have to do it right,
Right.
because app has got many different areas, of so like the chakra meditation I do, and there is some mantra meditation as well. And you do that, somehow, it just comes to a point where they are still there, all those thoughts are still there, but just it's not as consuming, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and so you talk about different like rooms in the app or different categories in the app.
Yeah.
What are the different, like what category would that insomnia play into that you would go into in the app to kind of work with? What category is that?
So we have some, and so we are going to, one of the things that we are going to do is we are going to create a playlist. So if you want to sleep well, then do, these 4 or 5 meditations. But at
Okay.
the moment, it's not categorized like that. So you have to go in the meditation section and figure out which works best for you. But yes, in a few months we will have a playlist which will be, if you have this anxiety, if you have these consuming thoughts, these are most likely going to help you. And
So will they'll help calm the mind, but will they help the body symptoms with some people experience the body symptoms like of being, tense, or their muscles are cramping up, or their chronic, they have the neck pain or the hip pain, or their stomach is bothering them, or their
yeah.
heart's racing. What about the
Yeah,
somatic
those
symptoms?
are the psychosomatic symptoms.
Right. Right.
I'm a scientist, so I cannot say categorically that it will, change you or it will do that, because I don't have that data
Yeah.
on those.
Yeah.
But I can say that it, to some of my friends and myself, it works. It does reduce those symptoms. I mean, or but if anyone says to you that if you do this routine or this meditation or this thing, your consuming thoughts will go away,
Right.
then I haven't found that routine yet. The fact that your level goes up, and I don't know if there is a, I mean, I don't have a drawing here. So if you have a line, suppose this, you draw a line, short line, an inch line, how do you make that line shorter without touching it? Have you heard that saying? How do you do that? It's a simple,
No.
you draw a longer line. So 1 inch line, you draw a 2 inch line, the 1 inch line becomes shorter. So what I'm saying is that you have anxiety or you have consuming thoughts, and your energy level is unable to deal with it, increase your level of energy. You will be able to handle it better. Somehow the bite, the sting goes away.
So you're saying that if people who have anxiety or have these all-consuming racing thoughts, they really just don't have enough energy. And that if you raise the level of energy through, like, it's kind of like
Inner
feeling,
energy, inner
yeah,
energy.
inner energy, like chi,
Yeah.
It's kind of like filling a gas tank, maybe.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they're operating on E a little bit,
Right.
right? So it's kind of like they need to take the plug and plug it into a source of energy to kind of fill them up past that teetering line where they're having the anxiety. And then that kind of takes the edge off. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And this app will give us the tools to do that.
The app has the tools to do that.
Okay. All right. Well, great. Great. So I'm going to
Yeah,
put this.
it's a different approach. Um, but, we have the classic approach as well. But I find these really fascinating. And the best thing to do is try.
All right. Well, I'm going to put um this promo on here. So if you would like to connect with Dr. Krishna on Facebook, you can go to the Relaxx app as well. And if you would like to download the app, you can go to relaxx.org. Is there anything else you would like to promote before we sign off, Dr. Krishna?
I know I don't have, I really enjoyed this. I mean, I enjoyed talking with you, pre recording and on this show. And it seems like your audience is fantastic. I'm trying to read some of the chats.
Yes, I'm going to bring some of them up right now just to. Okay, so this is a great question that somebody has. Paula Humphreys. Is it possible to accidentally fall into one of those gaps just by normal relaxation? And how do you prevent yourself from having an out of body experience or traveling when you fall into a gap? I get very anxious after that kind of experience. How is it controlled?
Yeah, I mean, Paula, thanks for asking this question. It happened to me once. Um, Actually, it wasn't that accidental, but I went into a similar experience while meditating, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And I went to my then teacher. He's not no more there, and he gave me a coconut, and he said, "Take this coconut and leave the fear here." Basically, you have the power to overcome that. And yes, accidentally it happens because somewhere, somehow, it's like Marisa or you or me, we have been there. If you believe in past lives, we have been there before. And it's not that accidental when it happens to you. You have done some work on this thing before. And when it happens, just try to enjoy it. I mean, it's very um, scary at times there because the journey there, that's why I like to call it an adventure. It's like there is, Mount Everest, and people go there. People know that they can die, but, they
Yeah.
still go there. So going to the inner journey, um, it's okay when we talk on a shallow lines, but when you really go deep, it can become a scary, and it seems like you have been there a little bit, and um, just go through that. That's the best I can say. One thing I always say that whoever your divine is, take them with you. It may be Jesus, it may be Krishna, it may be Buddha. They come handy there. They kind of hold your hand, they support you there. And
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Paula, for such a great question. I really appreciate that question. And two, for people that are doing there's a lot of people, I don't know, for me, I started with a much more outer journey for a very long time until I realized I was repeating patterns that I needed to start to work on the inner journey. And when I started to work on the inner journey, that got very, very turbulent very quickly. And when you keep going into those deeper wounds or those emotional spaces, or you're trying to heal trauma, that tends to be a difficult inner journey and experience. Are you still there, Dr. Krishna?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm here.
okay. Thank you so much. We have to
Thank
wrap up
you.
the show. I appreciate everybody being here the night after Thanksgiving, taking the time to sit with us. I hope you enjoyed our show tonight. And once again, to connect with Dr. Krishna, you could download the Relaxx app at relaxx.org or the Relaxx app on Facebook. So thank you so much, Dr. Krishna, for coming. I really enjoyed having you tonight. And I know our audience was listening very, very carefully because normally they're not this quiet. So I know that they were really, everybody's saying very challenging, but also very enjoyable. Thanking you for coming on. You can download the app here. I'll put it in the comments. And also, if you are not getting my monthly energy forecast, which should be coming up very soon, please go to my link, which